Whoa, look at this technology. I got 2 cameras to work, people. I did it. It's an OG Live brought to you by the Butcher's Market. I'm Joe Giglio. That is not Joe Obvious. Alex Nunnally, Wolfpack legend, ACC champion for life. How are you, Alex?
I'm just very happy to be here, talk some sports today with you.
Okay, perfect. We're going to work on your microphone placement to start our program today, since I didn't go over this to you pre-show. Bring it up here just a little bit below you. Yeah. All right, just drop it just a little. All right, start talking.
That better?
Oh, yeah. See that? Right. You hear that?
That's the power of technology right
Look
there.
at me working all of this technology. Big thanks to our friends at the Butcher's Market. Go hit them up. I like to go to the home base on Lake Boone Trail. They have amazing hot dogs. I know that there are some people who are like, what are you talking about? Go get the steak. But I got to tell you, a lot of different options. The number one thing you can do right now for your office is take care of your holiday catering meals through the Butcher's Market. Hit them up. It's the butchersmarkets.com. And of course, we can't do this program without Copiers Plus. Copiers-plus.com for all your print and data management needs. And we're here in the beautiful Efer Studios in downtown Raleigh, thanks to our friends at Empire Properties. All right, Alex, you played college basketball. You are from Cary. You're coaching high school basketball now, unbeknownst to me.
I am. Yeah, I'm over at Thales Academy in Cary, first year of the program. So we're really excited to get going here in a couple weeks.
You're going to coach them up.
We'll see. That's the goal.
I love it. I absolutely love it. We'll talk a little bit more high school basketball. But first, we'll talk more basketball too. I want to get some of your thoughts on Will Wade and the reckoning and all those good things. But first, Dabo Swinney has been kind of going through it the last few weeks. He saw his team, his proud program, lose at home to SMU. And then he saw his proud program lose at home to Duke. He now has lost consecutive games to Duke, which is the first time. It was the first time he lost at home to a triangle team or a Big Four team. B, it's the first time he lost consecutive games to a Big Four team. So he's kind of going through it. He's down bad. He's blaming the officials. And I was like, man, poor Dabo. You know, he's got all these ACC titles. He's got 2 natties. Like, he's got all this money. I shouldn't say poor Dabo. He's doing just fine. But like, it feels like every post game for Dabo has become like a fight with somebody, real or imaginary, right?
Yeah, it almost seems like he's just looking to express his kind of frustration with the situation at any point he can. And it seems like it kind of comes out after every loss or win. You know?
It's seasoned to taste when it comes to Dabo. You never know when you're going to get Dabo on his soapbox. But I believe this is from Tuesday. Yep. It's now Thursday. He made comments about the kind of the state of college football and where we are. And it got me thinking, what's good in college football and what's good enough in college football? Alex, you're an avid listener of this program, so you're familiar with Triangle Good. I even found you a Triangle Good hat for your personal collection. It's almost like the rest of the world is catching up to, is it okay to be Triangle Good? Is it okay to be good enough?
Yeah, I think, you know, I was having this conversation with someone yesterday. It just
you
depends.
Name drop your dad. That's well, fine.
Okay, yeah, it was my
John,
dad,
our guy, John.
You know, friend of the show.
Absolutely.
You know, we were talking about it. It really just goes back to what you're willing to put into the program. You know, if you're not having that financial commitment and you're expecting to win 9, 10, 11 games, make the playoff, it's just, you know, fool's gold. You're chasing an unrealistic dream. However, if you have the financial commitment that Clemson has to that program and you don't have that results to back it up, and you're looking at Indiana that all of a sudden throws, I know we're going to talk about Indiana in a second, but when you throw that money there, all of a sudden it works. And you're going, well, why can't you do that? We're Clemson. We've done it before. And now all of a sudden you're having that transition period from kind of the old school teams, you know, Alabama's, the Clemsons. Alabama's doing well, but they struggled a little bit in this NIL era too. So it's just going to be interesting to see how these old school coaches can adapt when you have a new school coach like a Kurt Signetti come in, immediately turn around a program that has been at the bottom of college football for literally forever.
Never been to the Rose Bowl in my lifetime, and I'm 50 years old.
Exactly. So it kind of goes back to Dabo saying, look, you know, everyone else is playing on the same field that we're playing on now. You know, we have a bad year. We're not going to continue to have 9, 10, 11, 12 win seasons every single year. And yet my fans are expecting that when I'm not getting the support that's so much higher than these other programs are getting.
Yeah, to me, if you look at it, the teams who've made their coaching moves already, let's put LSU, Penn State, Auburn, Florida in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
right? Even though Penn State and what James Franklin did, he did win 10, 11, 12 games. He did get to the playoff, but couldn't beat Ohio State, couldn't beat Michigan, couldn't get over the hump for a national championship that he probably honestly should have won last year. The way that the bracket fell
out.
He
made the semifinal of the playoff.
I know.
He won in the playoff. Now, you can talk about bracket luck all you want, getting SMU at home, and then Kevin Jennings just absolutely forgetting how to play football.
Yeah.
But you still won the game. I don't care how you win. You talk about the Panthers up in Green Bay. Everyone's talking about, Matt LaFleur coaching malpractice. You still won. I don't care how you win on the road, at home, in the playoffs, in a big game situation. So for Penn State to say, yeah, you made the semifinal last year, but that's last year. It's almost like, you guys talk about week-to-week league in the NFL. It's a year-to-year proposition in college football now. It doesn't matter what you did last year. What have you done for me lately?
I love it that you listen to the podcast. It makes me feel so good. I'm going to put Arkansas and Virginia Tech in the same category of, we've had these guys now for a minute, and they're not even getting to that 8, 9, or 10 win level. We can do better, right? I feel like there's a difference between good and good enough. I think there's a difference between, like you said, the investment. I think Florida State's going to come open, right? Like it almost has to, right?
Yeah, I would think so. You can't have, what was it, like almost 2 years between ACC wins from Norvell?
Yeah.
It can't happen at a school like Florida State.
It's crazy. So let's play Dabo's comments, and then I want to get into how that kind of applies and maybe some levels to what's good and what's good enough. Now, this is going to require technology from me, which means we go to share screen. We got to find Dabo. Here he is. And here we go.
And we've just lost our way. Oh God, here goes Sweeney's getting on his soapbox again. It'd be y'all write a million articles and clickbaits and all this, but we've lost our way. I mean, it's not we've created an NFL model, but the NFL's 32 teams and 16 spots. So it's the NFL is designed to be 8-8 or 9-8. That's the design of the league, and half the league is getting in the playoffs. So all year long, you have a chance for the playoffs. Even if you have a losing record, you could win in your division and you go to the playoffs, right? And that's what's driven that. But we got 136 teams for 12 spots. And so now we've made it all about the playoffs, and so people are losing their jobs. And you got people, even like for us this year, all of a sudden you're out of the playoffs early, so now it's not about your season anymore. For forever and ever and ever, what made college football special was it's about your season. It's about the pageantry of your program. It was about the relationships. It was about getting to a postseason. It was about your rival games, and now it's just all about the playoffs. And that's fine. I mean, if that's what it's going to be, that's fine. But the system is set up like people are going to get fired. And like, how many coaches have won championships in college football? Everybody acts like it's just so easy to do. And like it's just anybody can do it. There's some of the best coaches that ever coached this game didn't win a championship, didn't win their league, didn't win a national championship, and now it's harder than it's ever been. But to when you got 136 teams for 12 spots, so it's just not feasible. So maybe we need a 48 team. I mean, it's never going back. So I mean, maybe it's a 48 team league with 24 spots. And then maybe you have a different league, or you have relegate. I don't know, whatever it is. I don't know. Created this.
So I actually think he makes a lot of good points about they've professionalized college sports, as you've seen firsthand in your 4 years at NC State and then Texas, San Antonio, right?
Yep.
And you realize the players that come in and join your team, like, hey, that guy's making a lot of money to be here right now, right? This is the reality of college sports. So we've professionalized college sports, but we haven't changed the construct of it. So he's absolutely right. For all of his bullshit rhetoric about the officials and only being able to submit 10 calls, like, Dabo, I was in your stadium when 16 penalties were called against NC State and none were called against you. Okay? Like, stop with your whining about the officials. Don't do that to yourself. He's actually making a very salient point about you've professionalized college sports, but you haven't changed the structure of it. And that's causing fans to lose their mind, right?
Yep.
We live in an area where UNC went out and spent $40 million on their coaching staff because Duke has invested in college football. And because if SMU and Indiana can make the playoff, and invest and make the playoff, well, why can't we? invest in the make the play? Why isn't it just that simple? Right?
Yeah.
Like, why can't it be just that simple? Because it's not. Right?
No, it's not. I think one of the things that he makes a good point on is kind of just how professionalized it is. And yet you don't have the attachment to the players because they have the freedom of movement every single year.
Yes.
I think
even in
that's
the pros, you can't do that.
That's exactly what I was about to say. In the NFL, you're getting paid, but you know exactly how long that player is going to be there for the duration of that contract. And it's so hard to get a financial commitment from your fans, from your boosters, when you're like, hey, we need to go get this guy for 1 year, and then I'm going to need the money again next year. Oh, we missed on that guy last year, but I still need your money this year. Well, why should I trust you to go get a guy after you just missed on a guy? That's where I think the disconnect is coming, because the coaches want, funding after more money. But if you're a fan, you're like, well, you just went 7-5 with this roster. We just paid $20 million plus for. Why are we going to do it again? And I think, we can talk about NC State and Triangle again a little bit, but I think
it's donor fatigue. What you're describing is donor fatigue.
Yes.
And without giving away, your dad's business and your business, like your dad's been a huge supporter of NC State athletics for a long time.
Yes.
A long time. Like when your dad's sitting next to me and J. Cole in 2016 and 27, like he paid a few dollars for those tickets. You know what I mean? Like that went to support the Wolfpack Club. That went to support NC State athletics. So that's a real thing. That's a real investment for him. But he at least in that specific instance, he's getting something in return.
Yes.
The seat.
Yeah.
The view, the experience that other people don't get. When you're randomly writing a check for, let's use Mike James on NC State's team last year, never played, right? Like, and that's going to happen. That's injuries. To your point, if you have some contracts, you have some collective bargaining, you have some insurance. Well, by the way, you can, if you're going to professionalize it, what they're doing right now. Were you a fan of Breaking Bad?
I've seen it.
Our guy. This is Mike Ehrmantraut. Half measures. What college sports is doing right now is a half measure.
Absolutely.
And there's really no way around it without fully professionalizing it. Collective bargaining and contracts. That's their way out.
I think that's where it's headed. The problem is when you initially put NIL in, you said, all right, here you go. You went from 0 to 100. And It took a year for them to figure it out. Then you remember down in Miami, they gave Isaiah Wong and Nigel Pack identical NIL deals. Yes. All of a sudden, everyone was like, whoa, we can do that.
And they were in the Final Four, by the way.
Exactly. It worked. That's what everyone forgets, is that it worked for them. And all of a sudden, that year after, it exploded. And now you've become the Wild West without having any safeguards for these programs to be able to protect their own players and protect their own, funding and their own donor bases.
All right. So what's good? What's good enough? I think everyone goes into the season, right? Like even though there's 12 playoff spots, how many teams do you think go into the season thinking, if everything goes right, we're going to make the playoff this year? Do you think is 30 too many?
I think
the start of a year?
I think teams that think it is probably about 30. If you're like in the top 25 and the first few teams outside of it, you're probably thinking if everything goes our way, we can get in.
Maybe it's 40 because there's probably like 5 teams in the American because you have that automatic kind of ticket. There's probably like 3 in the Mountain West. That's 8. However many of the SEC probably have, at least 10 teams in the SEC think they're going to do it.
Well, from a funding standpoint, they all think they can.
They all, exactly. So maybe it's 40. Again, maybe it's 40.
It might be 40.
Who think when the season starts, we have a chance to make the playoff. Winning a conference title feels like another level down. Obviously, Penn State, James Franklin's won a conference title before. That wasn't good enough for most of the Penn State fans, even though at the time he tried to be like, hey, this is something we should celebrate. We haven't done it since, 1994. Like, this is a thing. So winning a conference title feels like another one of those people. I would say same amount go into the season thinking they can win a conference title. I mean, look at the ACC this year. I mean, it's November. There's still 6 teams sitting there going, we could do it. Why not? And one of them's not Clemson. Like
or Florida State.
Like that's kind of wild to think. 10 wins. If you won 10 games but didn't make the playoff, do you think that's a successful season?
I think that becomes a little more dependent on who you are.
Okay.
I think because NC State, for example, hasn't done it
since 02. Yes. And only once.
But if they did it and then did it again the next year, it'd be like, okay.
Now you move the bar, kind of like Penn State.
The bar keeps moving. And I actually want to push back a little bit on the conference title.
Yeah.
I think the conference title is important also depending on who you are. The playoff is important for every single person because then every single program, I should say, because then you're playing for the national championship. if you win a conference title, it's like, great, we were in it anyways because of the 12-team playoff. I think like last year when the committee put SMU and Clemson in, that was really important because then both of those teams knew that, okay, we can play in this championship game and not ruin our chances of getting in. It's going to happen at some point. Someone's going to lose in the championship game and get knocked out. And that next year, someone's going to go, yeah, we're not playing this game. We're 8th. We're going to be in.
I was going to say, look at what could potentially happen in the Big Ten this year.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Beck last year hurts his shoulder. Georgia's chances of winning the national championship went with him. For all of his problems, their championship hopes went with him.
Absolutely.
After he got hurt in the SEC championship game. If I'm Ohio State or Indiana, I just mentioned Indiana. It's either 68 or 69 is the last time they won the Big Ten title. Okay. I don't know that I try in that Big Ten championship game. If we're both 12-0, if they both pull this thing into the barn at 12-0, what's their incentive?
I think they try for a quarter. And as soon as someone gets up by 2 possessions, you're like, all right, good game.
Yeah.
And you just basically play the rest of the game
because
with your second string.
Yeah. It's you NBA it because you're like, hey man, this is not what we're here for.
Why would you? I guarantee you.
I guess you are the number. Could you be the number 1 overall? You would be the number 1 overall seed.
Yeah, unless the SEC wins. If the SEC, this year they
the
would.
winner of this year, because right now it's Ohio State, Indiana 1-2. So there is some incentive there, but I don't. It doesn't. To me, it doesn't look like last year where it was like, oh, if we played Arizona State, that wouldn't be the worst thing. If we played Boise State or played, SMU, I'm not suggesting that whoever wins the American, although South Florida is certainly capable of beating good teams.
Yeah, they are.
Or even the ACC champion could be at the end of the board as it's kind of lining up right now. So 10 wins to me, I think you're right. Once you do it, it becomes, well, we did it.
Yep.
And you keep doing it. Now you're like, well, wait a second, take the next step.
Yep.
Okay. 8 or 9 wins with a win over your rival. We've seen this one a couple times.
We've seen this more than a couple of times around here.
That feels like good enough to me.
But again, before the playoff era, successful. Good year.
Absolutely.
Oh man, we won 8 games. We're going to go down to Jacksonville, Orlando. We're going to go out to California and play in the Holiday Bowl.
Oh boy.
Man.
Oh boy.
Well,
the jersey's over there somewhere.
But again, that was a great year. Now it's like, well, half our team isn't going to play in this bowl game. Why do I care about this? And the practices are so, like the extra practices you get, they're all gone anyway.
Yeah.
What does it matter?
There's no value anymore.
There's no value.
I was going to say that's last on my list of the old world order was getting to a bowl game for those and the mythical extra practices. Now they're truly mythical. So where do you let's go through our teams then. NC State's 5-4. They have an open date this week. They will go to Miami. So they're going to close with a road game against Miami, Florida State here, Carolina here. So what at this point would be good enough for a 5-4 NC State team who just picked up the biggest win of Dave Doran's 13-year tenure last Saturday with an upset of Georgia Tech?
Well, first of all, that was the ultimate Law of the Wolf game.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, had to throw that in for you. But I think if you get, God, that's a hard question to answer because I was about to say 6-6 and you beat Carolina, but I'm going to sit here being upset if you don't beat Florida State.
Florida State. It's a Friday night game here.
Exactly. Yeah. That is a game NC State typically wins regardless of who the coach is.
Correct.
So then it's like 7-5. Then you look back on it. It's like, well, how did you not beat Virginia Tech? And how did you lose that Duke game? You start getting to the point where I don't know if any result is really
going to make you happy. No, if they close out,
if they won all 3, then yeah, obviously. If you got 2 of the 3, you'd be like, all right, you rebounded well. And I would give Doran a lot of credit for keeping those guys together.
Yes,
especially in this era where half that team is probably going, when's the portal open again?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually a very good coaching effort.
Props to our guy Josh Goodson who pointed out to me, when you win at home, it just means a little bit different. You can screw some things up on the road. So I think if they were to close with wins over Florida State at home and obviously Carolina at home, 7-5, with a loss to Miami and a win over Carolina, a big win over Georgia Tech, a top 10 win, something that has essentially eluded Dave Doran, except for a Clemson team that certainly did not finish the season in the top 10. So Carolina's 3-5. They're not the team I thought they would be in year one under Bill Belichick. I thought they would be 8-4 with that schedule. I thought they would be 8-4. I thought they would be a pretty good, solid defense as we've seen the last 3 weeks. I thought maybe a couple of the running backs or some of the receivers would flash. I thought the quarterback would be better. Gio Lopez, but he hasn't been.
Yeah.
But they're here at 3-5, coming off their first ACC win. Obviously, they had the close calls with Cal and Virginia. Now they get Stanford this week in a game that I have circled for Carolina fans now. I call a guy who knows a guy, or just go to DraftKings. Either one works. I think they're just going to put it on Frank Reich. Like I think our guy Bill Belichick, the big brain on Bill, has had this one circled. I get one NFL coach on my schedule. Do we play Lovie Smith? Like, who else is still out there?
Well, not only does he get to play NFL coach, he gets to play one that has no business being at Stanford right now. The only reason he's there is Andrew Luck. Exactly.
He's doing a favor. He's an interim coach on it, doing a favor.
But again, that's a team that's checked out. So he knows if he smells blood in the water, that is a game where he's going to jump all over them.
Okay, so let's give them Stanford to get to 4-5, and then they got Wake, Duke, State. The Wake and State games are on the road. See, I would think, depending on when the one win over a Big Four team is, I would think 5-7 with a win over a Big Four team, given where they were, might be acceptable. Yeah. Might be good enough.
I think if you got to 5-7 and they were to beat State to end the year,
then definitely, for sure,
or beat Duke at home and you take the bell home,
and to keep Duke from going to the ACC championship game.
Exactly.
Ooh, so those are two pretty good.
Those are two
alternatives.
Especially given how it looked a couple weeks ago, where you're like, is he going to finish this season? You go to 5-7, you're like, man, we could have just won one of these games earlier. We'd be in a bowl game. That gives you momentum going to the offseason that I would never have imagined they would have had.
Yeah.
If you asked me 2 weeks ago.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's finish with Duke. Duke's only 5-3, which is kind of deceiving because they are the betting favorite, according to DraftKings, to win the ACC football championship. And in part is because of the investment that they've made in college football, and in part because the way that they've played, their offensive line, their defensive line are both totally and completely legit.
Yes.
I know they lost a game against Georgia Tech that they should not have lost, but it's in front of them. The way that the ACC tiebreak works, if Duke were to win out, they would, one of the number one thing is your head-to-head. So if it's Duke and Virginia, obviously Duke has to beat Virginia to win out. They would have a tiebreak. Part of your common opponents then with Louisville becomes, well, what did you do against your common opponents? Virginia becomes a common opponent, and Virginia beat Louisville, and Duke under this scenario would have a win over Virginia and would have the tiebreak over Louisville. Well, so we're headed towards, if Duke can win out, they'll be in Charlotte playing for their first real ACC championship in a very long time, because Steve Spurrier had a tie with a team that he lost to and somehow convinced everyone that he actually won the ACC in 1989, but he did not.
Well, first of all, it is very funny that the common opponent of NC State is not going to matter.
Not going to factor.
Because Virginia played them non-conference. But Duke has played themselves into a position where they can really make some noise down the stretch. And it will be very interesting to see how they're able to kind of handle actually having game pressure on them in these last few games.
Different.
It's a lot different. You go down to Tulane. You don't want to lose that game. But at the end of the day, you're thinking, this doesn't affect us at getting to Charlotte. Now, all of a sudden, it's like, well, we can't lose again. But if we win out, we don't control our own destiny, but we don't need that much help.
No, they went out. They do control their destiny because they can win the ACC and make the playoff as the automatic.
Well, that puts even more game pressure on you, because then you're like, well, we can't lose at all. If we win out, we're in Charlotte, and if we win, we are in the playoff.
They have a strange non-conference game this week against UConn. I don't know how it ended up this late in the season, but here we are for Duke. Speaking of betting favorites. We've officially hit the wonky part of the college football season. I'm going to give you a play from outside of the ACC. Indiana has been absolutely pasting teams. Kurt Cignetti has that group playing at a level where it's almost like the old voters, or he's just trying to impress the old voters, right? Like Urban Meyer used to be famous for this, whether it was Utah when he was trying to get into the BCS, or at Florida, we were trying to convince people, oh, no. Pay no attention to that saving guy. Over here, we're winning by 40, 50 points. Indiana has that big fuck you energy to me. Penn State, I believe, poured it out for Ohio State. Indiana is a 2-touchdown favorite on the road, things you would never be able to explain to me. But here I am telling you in 2025 that you should take Indiana minus 14.5 to cover against Penn State. All the college football lines are there on DraftKings, thanks to our good friends. All you got to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Guess what? The NBA season started as well. All your favorite NBA players are back. And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, is the place to bet on NBA stars this season. New customers bet just $5 and get 3 months of the NBA League Pass. Plus, score $300 if your bet wins, paid in bonus bets. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code OG25. That's code OG25. Bet $5 and get 3 months of the League Pass plus $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bet must win to receive bonus bets which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. NBA League Pass auto renews until canceled. Additional terms at dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Housekeeping.
All right, before Gordon Miller Lending joins us here on the OG, a Butcher's Market OG Live, Alex, we have a pop-up shop. So you can get yourself some OG swag. We have hoodies that include the Drunk Wolf. I don't think I've given you any Drunk Wolf swag. We'll have to work on that. We also have full zip hoodies with a patch with the drinking shirt that I provided for you today. Check it out. The link is below to our pop-up shop. Also, Alex, you are a Triangle veteran. You may remember when one local television station tried to provide guerrilla coverage of the Raleigh Christmas Parade. Well, I see your guerrilla coverage and I raise it because we will have a live stream of the Raleigh Christmas Parade on Saturday, November 22nd. We will be stationed at the State of Beer. Our good friend Hayes Permar will be directing our coverage. So if you're looking for an alternate to the local stations who may or may not know what the heck they're talking about, come check us out. And of course, Housekeeping is brought to you by Enovana. Now, let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend himself, Gordon Miller Lending. Joe Ovius has all of this covered, so I can't see it. So we're going to have to rely on Gordon to give me the information and the phone number. I do know you can go to millerlending.com, though, and get all your information about a no-fee closing cost. Perfect, Gordon. Save me some money, please, sir. Say hello to Alex Nunnally.
Hi, Alex.
How you doing?
See, with Joe not being in studio, this kind of like screws up my whole thing about reminding Joe about the Weepy Sappy show that we did years ago.
Oh, no.
Where everybody called in with their memorabilia, their memories, all their special moments. And I saw him tweet today about, your best piece of memorabilia. And I guess mine would have to not be ACC related. It's actually the dirt from the final game at Tiger Stadium.
Wow, that's amazing, actually.
Piles of dirt.
I love it. You're not selling dirt, though. You're actually selling us a better way to take out a mortgage. That's what you're doing.
Oh boy, the funny thing right now, Joe, is that I'm working on writing an ad for tomorrow, and the thing that some of these things that keep driving me crazy, and I've been doing no closing cost loans since the 80s, and came down to Carolina in 96, and we've been doing them ever since. Now actually in 5 states. So 5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So now that I've kind of got my younger element running the business day to day.
Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah. We'll between him and Austin, we'll probably be in 25 states by Friday. I don't know, but it's just the kind of thing where you're trying to figure out why people are still paying closing costs, and I think what I've come to figure out from social media is just they don't know what makes rates. They talk too much about inflation, and then they put out a concern that rates are not going to come down. I don't see that view, but the bottom line is that way back when we started doing zero closing cost loans, you heard that part right. We don't roll anything in. We don't charge anything. It's fully lender paid. It took timing out of it. So now what's driving me crazy is we've got people that, well, I know I could save 140 a month, but I heard rates are doing this or that, or guys, it's free, which means you take the savings. You don't wait for the if come, to use a gambling phrase. You just go ahead and you can do it anytime. You find a house you want, rates aren't as low as you want, you can still get the house. And as soon as rates drop, you just do another loan. What's driving us nuts is, especially in our Michigan branch, they're paying $15,000 on average to buy rates down. And this started when rates were being bought down to 7. I recently we just had rates being bought below 6. When you've gone through the business as long as I have, in the last 25 years, post-COVID is the only period we've had where rates have been elevated like this. So to think that that would be permanent, or that would just be the way it's going to be, or now, it's going to be an average of 7 like it used to be. No, you've got a housing market tied up. You've got existing home sales at record lows. No closing costs means no closing costs. You just buy the house. Today's the rate. You're not buying the rate down. And what you can't see, Joe, is obviously, we've got the nocostmortgage.com, millerlending.com. You can utilize either one. Easiest phone number to remember, maybe just 8779, no cost.
Ooh.
But, while everybody's out there talking about rates that don't exist or trying to, we're seeing that least favorite part of my career, where you turn the radio on and somebody's talking about rates in the 4s when the average rate is in the 6s. And once you call, you're steered off of a 30-year fixed. You're steered off of, no, we're not going to play games, which is the other thing. You can't survive in a market like we have. We've been in carry since 96. That's almost 30 years, which means we're doing something right. And it's even more right now that I've turned it over to my boys, because now I'm not in the way.
Yeah.
So it's just it's been a long career of doing these. It really frustrates me when people buy down the rates with closing costs. It's really more of a sheep mentality. You're not required to pay closing costs. That's not part of the home buying process. You don't have to save up for a down payment and then, oh my God, I got 5, 6, 7 grand in cost. So I would suspect the ad that you start to hear next week may have a tiny bit of anger.
I was gonna say, you're feeling this one. You definitely feel it. I know this though.
Tiny bit of anger.
Your group will always be honest. That's the thing that impressed me. Like,
Yeah.
Austin hit me in my hot zones by saying, okay, here's your existing loan. Here's what you're paying. Okay, well, if we work on a HELOC, here's what the rate would be. And then he promised me, hey, when this changes and we could put these together, that's what we're gonna do. And it was all the numbers, it was all a spreadsheet. And he even told me, I cannot let you refi. I can't get you out. We can't do that. So I appreciate your honesty. Before you leave, though, on a lighter, more hopefully not as serious note. I know your Lions are coming off a loss, but you're feeling good about where they're going to be on Sunday against Washington, right?
Yes, this Sunday. Then it's Philly, and I don't know, what's going to happen after that week. But yeah, Washington is too beat up. The Lions stood pat at the deadline, which would suggest there's no panic.
Weird, yeah.
Yeah, there's no panic.
It's okay.
But the price I saw for those trades, guys,
it's a lot. It's steep.
A lot. We've gone through trade deadlines without a first round pick being traded other than draft day. And this was like, the first round picks, second round picks, third round max. It wasn't the usual, hey, I'll give you a pick swap at the 7th round. These were legit deals being made. And there were some heavy overpayments, I think, as well, which is going to make the second half of the season really, really interesting. But yes, I'm hoping my Lions stay in it. To the end, the Vikings game I was at, it was horrible. So thank you for asking. Yes, we should take care of Washington, but we just made J.J. McCarthy the hottest QB name in football. Come on.
I wasn't trying to get you upset.
Stop.
Hit him up at millerlending.com. Gordon, you're the absolute best. Enjoy. You're going to be back soon, right? You're coming back to town for the Florida game? Duke, Florida.
I'm coming back right after Thanksgiving for the Florida game, and then I'll be back for the winter right after Christmas. So yes, I'm looking forward to getting back in town.
All right, we'll make a run to Danville when you get here.
I already thought about that. Yes, we
All right,
will.
let's go.
All
Gordon
right.
Miller, MillerLending.com. Check him out. Appreciate you, sir. Safe travels to you too.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Alex, we're going to talk about NC State basketball, but first, I was at the arena on Monday. My guy Jared was there. They have a new promotion at the arena for Will Wade. It is the Will Wade Waffle Cone at the Two Roosters. They have 3 locations actually at Lenovo Center. So if you get the Will Wade Waffle Cone, it's a cone. It has a chocolate sauce, if you will, with sprinkles, and then whatever your delicious flavor that you like from Two Roosters. That will go to support the V Foundation. Proceeds from that special Will Wade Waffle Cone will go to support the V Foundation. And then it's almost Thanksgiving. If you've not had, you've been to the Angus Barn, you've had the chocolate chess pie.
Yes.
Okay. Jared makes chocolate chess pie. It's ice cream with chocolate chess pie in it. It's chocolate chess pie ice cream flavor with the crust in it that he then pours into a crust with special whipped cream. It is off the charts. Off the charts. He also has a pumpkin roll with a cream cheese ice cream.
I might have to head over to Two Roosters here pretty soon.
Think and do. As a fellow NC State graduate, our guy Jared has just been killing it at Two Roosters. So please go check them out at tworoosters.com. All right, let's get into the reckoning. I have gotten some NC State fans who have misinterpreted my take from the South Carolina game. I was merely trying to point out, if you say you're going to have a reckoning, you better not need a play on the last second of the first time we see you in public to beat the Chickens. That's all. Some people have misinterpreted that. That's fine. Went to the game on Monday. I thought it was a fun experience. Different experience. I don't think it was sold out, but there was probably, were you there on Monday?
Yeah.
I think there was probably 15,000 people there.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, it was way better than, well, you weren't there last year, but
I watched it. And
yeah.
When it starts looking bad on TV on the lower bowl, that's when you know.
Yeah. And I have the number from last year. The actual number from last year was 6,000.
Yes.
Was the average attendance. Yep. That's obviously part of the reason why Kevin Keats was fired and Will Wade was brought in to be the head coach this year. So I keep telling people I am only going by Will Wade's standard. And believe it or not, the person who would respect that the most is actually Will Wade. What did you think of Monday's performance against NC Central?
I thought it was exactly what was needed when you have all the statements he's made over the spring, summer, fall, going into the season. You needed a performance like that where you're chanting for the walk-ons and Jordan Snell, my guy Jordan Snell, to get in the game with 5 minutes left in the game, and he gets in, gets a bucket. Shout out to my guy. But that's the performance you needed for the fan base to go, okay, he might actually know what he's doing. It's so easy to talk the talk, but when you start walking that walk and you beat a team that you're supposed to beat by that margin, that's when you start really getting the fan base to start buying in.
And that brings us to, we didn't have a chance to talk about this. We talked a lot about the game. I get all that. But this was on the court. Tuffy Talk got this. This is from on the court after the game. Let's see.
As a group, with our team, with our fans, everybody knows the reckoning is here. The Pack is back, and we are not to be messed with. Go Pack.
I mean, I know Vince McMahon went to ECU, but he's got some WWE.
He does.
Doesn't
absolutely.
he?
Yeah, he absolutely does.
Like, the reckoning's here. The Pack is not to be messed with. You're a lifelong State fan. Are you okay with this?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you're a youth.
One of the biggest things I loved was not only him saying that, which I absolutely loved that. I love the fact he stayed out for the alma mater and had the guys. That is a little thing that it may not matter, but it's something that every single person that stayed, I heard from after the game talking about, that was so amazing. That's just a little thing he did. He brought the noise meter back. He brought the jerseys back.
Yeah.
You know, the little things that he clearly is paying attention to the base to endear himself to. It will be very interesting to see when he takes some losses down the road, how much that really matters. But again, he gets it. And I think that's what he understands. This fan base is so sick and tired of having everyone kind of talk about them being a second-rate team to Duke and Carolina.
Yeah.
So I think he is doing a very good job of capitalizing on that, and hopefully he delivers on it.
I mean, he's married to a Carolina grad. I mean,
That is true.
I think one thing people don't understand, he has a very good grasp on the dynamics
Oh, he does.
of this
And
area.
he's doing
Maybe
a great job
maybe
of
not
playing
on
off
the
on it.
Duke side. I think maybe he's going to need a little education on that one. But I'm sure his wife's whole family they're season ticket holders at UNC, so like he should be hearing from them like how much he should hate Duke, because Carolina hates Duke more than like anything on the planet.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to get a great education on Big Monday at the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it will come in time. I as a 50-year-old, as someone who's followed NC State athletics since '93 closely, I don't love the bragging before doing. Like, I got no problem talking shit after it's over. I don't love talking shit before it's done, because it just feels like you're putting an unnecessary target on yourself. But if that's a way to motivate the players, which it does seem the players have embraced that.
Well, they've bought in. They've actually bought into it.
So I'm not going to question that, because I think one thing Kevin used to tell me all the time is you don't understand this generation. Like you don't get it. Because I remember saying to him about Brad Davison, like, that motherfucker kept you out of the tournament in 2019. He's like, yeah, but these players, they don't care about that. Like, they're not like when Wisconsin came back the next year, he's like, they weren't thinking about, oh, that's the guy who flopped 6 times. And, if we had beaten Wisconsin, we would have been in the tournament. And I was like, right. But that's how people of this generation think.
Yes.
He's like, yes. And thank you for getting the fans riled up for me. He's like, but the current players, that's not their mindset.
Yeah, I think certain guys have that mindset. But again, when you have a roster turnover every single year, it's so hard. Back then, it was a little different because the portal hadn't quite hit in. But now it's, oh, yeah, this team did this to us last year. It's like, well, I was over in California playing. Why do I care about this? But I think one of the things that I appreciate about Will Wade is that you can see his process clearly playing out on the court. Every little thing matters to him. The way the guys sit on the bench is clear in that he knows exactly where a guy's going to be when he turns around.
Oh, he's meticulous.
Yes.
Meticulous.
The assistants are so engaged with the game plan. He had a couple of guys yelling out defensive assignments. Wade is clearly kind of orchestrating all of it, but he clearly trusts his assistants. He trusts his process. And that's why I don't have as big of a problem with him bragging now, because I think he knows and he trusts himself. And it's evident in how they played and how they played for him that everyone's bought into that system.
Friday, they get a pretty good UAB team.
Very
At least they
good.
were last year. I know there's been some injuries for them. There's obviously some turnover for them. You're too young to remember Andy Kennedy, but this is one of those games that old State fans are like, wouldn't be the worst thing to put that guy in his place. So we'll see how that ends up working. Meanwhile, Carolina on Friday takes on Kansas. All right, Alex, welcome to the take business. Is this a must-win game for Carolina and Hubert Davis specifically?
I will say yes, not from a tournament perspective, but from a tone-setting media perspective moving forward. I think that's where it becomes the must-win.
They've lost 5 straight to Kansas. Roy went 0 for 3 against his former team, all 3 of those in the NCAA tournament. Famously, the Final Four in 08, and then the next day he showed up with the sticker and people lost their fucking minds. Hubert is 0-2, lost regular season game in Lawrence last year. Obviously lost the national championship game in 22, largest halftime lead blown in a national championship ever. Hubert's 0-2 against the Jayhawks. This, of those 5 losses, though, obviously, this is the first in 6 games that will be in Chapel Hill. And obviously these programs are married together. Dean Smith played at Kansas, went to Kansas, learned from Dr. James Highsmith, and the whole shooting match there that's involved between, he didn't play for James Highsmith, played for the guy who played for James Highsmith, but Roy Williams then, of course, went to Carolina, then coached at Kansas. So these 2 programs are like,
they're very intertwined.
They're the same. So Fogg Allen is who Dean Smith played for, who did actually play for James Naismith. Not to get my historians mad at me right now. I agree. I think this is a must-win game. I think Bill Belichick has done Hubert Davis a favor, and he needs to capitalize on that. This is a make or break year for Hubert Davis, whether he realizes it or not. And I think he does. I don't think he's stupid. The best way to get that fan base somehow back on his side, which I think is crazy, mind you. But I've been told I don't understand the Carolina standard, and there's some truth to that because they're measuring against Duke, they're measuring against Kentucky, they're measuring against everyone
Kansas
in Kansas, right? And they're 0-5 against Kansas
exactly.
and 0-8.
And when you have an embattled coach is going into a season, what better way to get the fan base on your side to go beat a team that's been a thorn in your side for the better part of 2 decades? Really, honestly, you can go back further than that. But we're just talking about just the last 5 games.
Oh, wait.
It's a great way, just like you said, after football season, you go, well, Hubert just beat Kansas. That gives you a month, 2 months, even 3 months. Obviously you had to win games after that, but it gives you that platform to be like, when I have the support, well, imagine what I could do with even more support after that. I just beat Kansas at home. What happens if you support me even more than this? I think that gives him that proof of concept to really kind of solidify what has been kind of a shaky tenure for him.
Up and down,
yes,
inconsistent. And that's where the Carolina fans like to remind me. It's not necessarily what he's accomplished. It's the inconsistencies in the standard that North Carolina is used to. I actually think they're going to win Friday.
Yeah,
I think they're going to beat Kansas.
I have a feeling they will too.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. My guy Caleb Wilson
them a little bit against Central. That's a good team.
I watched them against BYU too.
They hung in that game.
They did
were right there.
They did. Their guards are the ones that I have concerns about, but Bogovic actually playing.
Yes, that helps a lot. And Caleb Wilson
obviously helps a lot.
Caleb Wilson is legit. That is a very good basketball player.
Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, head coach, NC Central. He is LeVelle Moton. Coach, how are you?
I'm wonderful, man. How you guys doing?
We're good. We're good. We appreciate the time. And
no problem.
I gotta wonder, you being somebody who's been around NC State's program for a while, grew up around here, and it's Monday night, and it's like they're doing all the callbacks, man. They brought back the noise machine and everything. You probably had to be sitting there going, wait a minute, this is all for me? This is all for us? What is happening right now, Lenovo? Sold out? What is happening right now?
Look, man, it was incredible. The atmosphere was electric. It reminded me of when I was a kid and the boys club used to take us to Reynolds Coliseum, and that meter used to, light up, and they tried to, break the light bulbs in there, right? And so I actually saw Boo, the AD, before the game. He said, man, we got to sell out tonight, man. And he was like, man, I want to thank you for bringing your team. And I said, well, cut us another check for the sellout portion of this too. Like we need our residuals for that too, man. So nevertheless, man, it was an electric atmosphere. It was incredible for our kids to experience that environment. And hopefully we can build and take that into other arenas and learn from it.
First 10 minutes Monday night, you went to the deep in the bag. You got the zone. You're slowing that thing down. You're running some flex, running a little horns. You had the whole bag going, Coach. Like, you were like, I'm going to team the hell out of this thing. And 10-point game. You were able to get to the rim a little bit, expose a little bit of one of their problems on defense. Yeah. But then, like that finish to the first half, you kind of see the waves of talent that they kind of have. But what did you see from Darian Williams at NC State that kind of stood out to you there in that push to end the half?
It's funny that you say that, because the learning lesson from our guys is, when you're playing high major teams, right? The reality of it is, of course, you have a chance to win. But your margin for error is thin, because you can do everything perfect and they still score or they still execute because, their talent level. And I thought, and I'm looking at the film now, the score was 22-16, and we threw the ball away. And after that turnover, they went on a 14-0 run, right? Us holding the ball and slowing it down. Look, as you guys mentioned, it was a sellout. But what I told our kids, nobody paid to just watch somebody dribble a ball. So I don't see anybody screaming whenever someone just stand there and dribble a ball. So now we're drowning the crowd out, right? And it was 19,000, but they were rather quiet to my likeness when it was 22-16. Then when they went on the 14-0 run, it just got louder and louder. And now the Wolf is out there high-fiving, and then the band, then Will is, so it just electrified the entire arena. And when you go into those arenas, that's what you can't do, right? So that's what we're learning from that. And that's what we're going to take and try to apply as we go on this road to Virginia and who else we got? Kentucky and Dayton and North Carolina, right? So we got several opportunities to try to apply that lesson.
I enjoyed going to school after the game in the press conference. And I want to get into some of your comments about the disparity in budgets, but I should have known that you had some sort of connection to one of the players at NC State. Where is this Trey Holloman connect coming from?
It's always 6 degrees of LeVelle Moton. It's always a thing.
6 degrees. It's crazy, man. You guys know that I was born in Boston originally, in a housing project called Orchard Park. Trey's mother was a young lady by the name of Crystal Flint, who was one of my best friends. She was the girl that could hoop, and she played in the projects with us, right? Now, ironically,
of course. How?
Right. Ironically, she later went on to Minnesota and received a college basketball scholarship, and she played at Minnesota, and now that's where Trey settled. But her family lived in the same project building, and they are super close to this day as Bobby Brown, right? So from New Edition. So that's Trey Holloman's uncle, God rest his soul, and Bobby Brown were best friends. Like if you see the Bobby Brown movie,
okay,
like if you go check that out, there's a young gentleman that was Bobby's best friend that, lost his life tragically, and that was a member of their family. That was Crystal's brother. That was Trey's uncle, Jimmy Flint. Rest in peace to Jimmy. Right. So I've known that family, since we were kids. And so we moved to Raleigh. She moved to Minnesota. We always stayed in touch. And believe it or not, it was my first time ever meeting Trey personally. We knew each other. Right. But it was our first time ever meeting. And it was he was like, man, you like my uncle. And I was like, exactly, man. Like it's crazy. So just seeing that connection, man, and feeling that, and Crystal was at the game. Okay. It was surreal. It was surreal.
I know people can misinterpret sometimes. And yeah, I was listening to that and I'm like, of course he's got some, like, I was just like, but I hope people didn't misconstrue what you were talking about. I felt like you were trying to be complimentary to NC State in how they've invested in college basketball. But I kind of want people to understand your side of it too, in terms of NCCU. You guys did not opt into the revenue sharing as a university. So that puts you at not that you haven't been at a significant disadvantage. I know.
I had jotted something down about that.
But so if there's a way to clarify maybe the way that what you were trying to say about your own group and how that kind of works, because you're kind of almost at like this D2 type level of saying, I'm going to give you a full scholarship and the meal plan, all these things. These are all still good things, but I can't pay you even a $50,000, which would be, kind of pittance, to a high major transfer or even a mid major transfer. So I just want to kind of set the table, because I've had some people who texted me and were like, well, why was he even saying that? And like, man, he was really like talking down to his own group. And I was like, no. That wasn't the frame that he was coming.
Yeah. Like, and you guys, like, I'm here. You guys know, man, y'all know me well enough. Y'all can ask me anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So don't hold back. Like, I'm always gonna lead with the truth. The danger about social media is that people can clip anything that you say, and without contextualizing, because you don't get an opportunity once you say whatever. It's your words out there. Now they can just clip it and they can post it for 15 seconds, and now it looks or sounds. And, I get it. I understand that. And I don't even choose to walk over there and explain my reasoning to that. Like the only thing that matters to me is the kids in my locker room. And what they understood what I was saying. I was actually being complimentary of NC State, right? Because listen, the rules have changed and everything has adjusted, and Will has done an outstanding job of taking the NIL budget and going to buy winners, right? Because a lot of the mistakes, it's not just about getting money going to buy players. right? It's buying good players, but also buying winners. And my point was, they got $12, $13 million, whatever it is over there. And now he goes and gets Trey Holloman, right? That's Izzo DNA in your locker room now.
Yeah.
Right? That's Elite Eight DNA, Big Ten championship DNA in your locker room. Then you go get the kid from Texas Tech, who's preseason player of the year. I think they made it to the Elite Eight or Sweet 16, but that's in your locker room now. You got Arsenal. That's Kevin Sampson DNA in your locker room. You got the kid from Carolina. That's Carolina DNA in your locker room. So he's done an outstanding job of, it's like an NBA exec having all the money, but if you just go sign anybody, it don't work because you had all the money. It works because you signed the right people, like a Sam Presti in OKC, or like what Jerry West did for years, right? So there's a general manager aspect to it that's, I get it. I understand it. Kudos, and I compliment that. Now, on the other side of that, you have a school like us who don't have that, right? And so a large part of that is me kind of educating our fan base and educating the basketball world about the intangibles of what goes on in our program, right? And do I think kids should be paid? Absolutely. I'm not complaining about it, man. Look, I come from the era in the environment where I've always been the underdog, right? I've been here 16 years. If I was going to run, I would have been ran, right? So I'm built for everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I'll adjust and will adjust. And what I was saying is, our striving moment for us is we've done a SWOT analysis on our basketball team, so we lead with the truth. We don't have anyone in our locker room that won anything. Yeah. Right. But we have people in our locker room that haven't won anything, but they're wanting to win something. And so my point to them was, man, you can learn from Trey. You can learn from, Arsenal. You can learn from these guys as we play them, and you can take a little bit of that away and then apply it. And at the end of this day, we're waking up every day trying to be champions ourselves. So that's what I was trying to, get across, to the basketball world. But obviously sometimes the basketball world is just filled with casuals who are looking to
I thought it was a bar. You're like, winners know why they win and losers don't know why they lose.
Right. And that's
the truth. And chopped up, and I was like, no, that's not, it's like weird that he called his own team losers. I'm like, no, he was making a point about So anyway, I just wanted you to be able to expand upon that.
And all that stuff makes sense. And to your point, you've been doing this 16 years, and that's the part that I was curious about. It feels like every couple of years you are having to, if there's a trickle down effect, right? So North Carolina is going through the growing pains, and they've added a general manager, and they're doing things that they didn't think they were going to have to do just 5 years ago, right?
Right.
We talked about the investment, but there's a trickle down effect to this, including what happens at you with you and Central in the last 16 years. So I understand what North Carolina has to do to adapt, right? And what Hubert Davis needs to do in order to not play catch up, but just kind of get with the times. How do you get with the times with having opted out of how does that affect what Central does going forward? Because again, I'm looking at your schedule. You referenced it. I think it bears repeating. You got Virginia on Friday night. You've got North Carolina the next week. You've got Dayton. You've got Kentucky. I mean, this is not easy, and you're doing it. I mean, this is the equivalent of me going on Call of Duty 6 or whatever it is with my kid, who's like already at a level that I'm not familiar with, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start playing now. Like that's a completely different thing. So how do you prepare for that? How do you navigate that?
It's really difficult. You got to be resilient as a leader. We have this thing in our program, our mantra is no whining, no complaining, no excuses, right? Whatever it is, we're going to get it done. And it seems like whatever we've done, we've always been behind the 8 ball. My mentor, Bill Hayes, told me, he said, and I'm sure you guys probably know Coach Hayes, legendary football coach and athletic director throughout HBCUs. He said, your problem right now is you've done so much for so long with so little that people expect you to do anything with nothing. And when he said that, it just hit like a ton of bricks, right? And so, again, I'm built for it. I've always done things creatively because we had to do something creative, right? I'm from a place where if there was nothing in the refrigerator, it was just a loaf of bread and some syrup in the cabinet. people just saw a loaf of bread and some syrup, and I had to see French toast, right? Right. So I had to kind of make something out of nothing. Is who I am, is what I'm built for. And so a large part of me coming on platforms such as this and press conferences is kind of educating our fan base as well, right? To this new NIL order that we have. To answer your question, NCAA has become a capitalistic society, right? And the truth of the matter is it takes money to resolve these issues. It's not basketball coaching anymore, right? It's just more so, I told someone, if you assigned 2 men to the task of building a home, and you gave one man $12 million and you gave the other man $12,000, well, whose house would look better when you come back in a year, right? The man that has $12,000 needs to go out and find a carpenter, preferably Jesus, right? To kind of help. Let's start with Jesus. And then he can go try to, get some connections with electricians and so on and so forth. But that's what we've done. Yeah, you got to get some wine out of that. But that's what we've had to do. And I take pride in doing that, right? Like, I wake up and I get excited about overcoming those odds and these kids in this locker room. Hey, the world is against us, but this is an opportunity to make legendary history. And that's the mindset that we've always had to carry and conduct within ourselves. Now, I do probably have to sit down with our administration, and together we come up with some creative ways to get some revenue share and things of that nature here. I'm willing to do anything in my part and, go tap into corporate America and, get these donors and get these dollars in here. Anything to help these young men and these student athletes around here succeed. That's what I want to do. But I also want to give them a fair chance, because this NIL thing is kind of like an iPhone, right? Yeah. And so you can have the iPhone 12 one year and it'd be great, but now they're on the iPhone 18. It constantly moving. You gotta upgrade your settings and apps every single year. If not, you get left behind. If not, your Wi-Fi don't work as well. Your pictures get a little blurry. You know what I'm saying? It takes a little longer to send the video, right? It's those things. So I like to use the iPhone analogy, because we committed to this and it's not going to stop moving. It's not going to stop. This train is not going to stop. So we got to do a better job of figuring it out, starting with me. And that's dollars. That's dollars, period.
Well, how much longer do you see yourself doing this with the new hurdles that keep getting thrown your way? How much longer do you think you could do this?
Yeah, I'm built for it, man. Like, I just love basketball. I'm a junkie, man. Like, God has blessed me to use basketball to teach kids life lessons, and I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
That's very relatable. It's like, why are you doing this podcast? Because I tell this to my kids all the time. It's like, guys, I don't know what else I would do.
Yeah, I don't. This is what God put me on earth to do. I think a gentleman asked me at the press conference, like, the other night, why do you coach? And it was crazy because I've never been asked that question, but I was like, man, this is what God called me to do. Like, your career is what you get paid to do, but your calling is what you were made to do. Right. And I just honestly feel like I was just made to do this. If not, I would be coaching my son's 12-year-old basketball team for free. Right. I started coaching in this business as a middle school coach that made $225 a month, $675 a year. So I've never done it for the income. I always did it for the outcome. Right. And along the way, you see kids that you touch and affect, such as a John Wall and, Rodney Purvis and Dez Wells, Devontae Gray. Like, you see those kids and you touch those kids, and now you understand the impact of what you do. And it just inspires you to continue to do it.
LeVelle Moton, Central head coach. We appreciate the time as always. Hey, man, good luck on Friday. I'm sure we'll check in with you later in the season.
Y'all the best. I appreciate you guys, man.
If you're going to buy a house, or even better, sell your house in this market, don't do anything stupid. For real. Do not take a guaranteed offer. Go to our friends at Hometown Realty. That's myhtr.com. myhtr.com. From here to the coast, they've got you covered. Hometown Realty, you can buy and sell with confidence. Now, of course, once you close, you're going to need help from our friends at Hometown Real at Whitaker and Hamer. It's WH.lawyer. If they're smart enough to go with WH.lawyer, they're smart enough to help you with all of your legal needs. Maybe there's family law, maybe you're selling a business, all those other good things. Any of those options, traffic issues, you name it, Whitaker and Heyman, they've got you covered. WH.lawyer. Josh Whitaker, Joe Hamer, they're in Garner. You know what else is in the G? My guy, Matt Davis. Matt Davis, insuregarner.com. Matt can handle all of your insurance needs. It's insuregarner.com, or give him a call, 919-779-8277. This is like the longest ad break in the history of the world. We're about to talk about some hockey. No Mike Maniscalco this week, but Brassfield Accounting is always there for you. Chris Brassfield, he's in Homer, Alaska. Maybe you need a fractional CFO. I think, Alex, you got a real degree from NC State, not communication or history.
No, I got political science. So
Poli sci. No, you did not get a real degree. Okay.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine then.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I know. I'm with you. It's the chas. You know,
it is.
We're brethren.
Agree with you.
Yeah. So the thing is, I'm sitting here trying to run a business like I know what the heck I'm doing, and I can handle it because it's just two people. If I had like some sort of grant or government loan or anything else, I would be hitting up my guy Chris Brassfield. That's brassfieldaccounting.com. They have all of our Mike Maniscalco appearances this year covered. Check them out. It's brassfieldaccounting.com. Now, finally, you're a youth. You probably don't need a nap. Are you a nap person? You're not. You're a youth.
No, I'm really not, honestly.
All right. You just had your birthday.
I did.
Is it 23?
24.
24?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be a youth for at this rate.
What do you think? 16 more years.
Okay.
Now, people in their 20s, when you get in your 30s, will not consider you a youth.
I don't know if I would consider that.
We're going to get to this, though. I have a whole segment on this. Don't you worry. I have a whole segment on this. But I love a nap. And our friends at Bloom and Blinds, they bring you all of our ACC football coverage this year. They also take care of all of my nap times because those room darkening shades, man. So I know what you're thinking. My bedroom, it's dark, but the little nap area, the couch, the living room, you got to get that sun out of there. Bloom and Blinds, or maybe you just maybe you bought a house from our friends at Hometown Realty and you got to put up 28 sets of blinds on your windows. I got news for you. I did that way back in 2005. It was a big mistake. I'm still crying about it 20 years later. Do yourself a favor. Hit up Bloomin' Blinds. That's 919-980-9815. I'm totally discombobulated because we're on the longest break in the history of breaks because I forgot to do our ads before we went to the LeVelle interview.
Hey, you're killing it right now, though.
I know. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. We have a mutual friend that we need to promote right now. Hayes Lancaster, Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. Ain't nobody better. The OG. Go to bugsbite.com. That's bugsbite.com. I know what you're thinking, Giglio. It's the winter. Well, first of all, you got to have termite coverage in the state of North Carolina. That's number one. They handle termites. Number two, I had, past tense, moisture under my house. Crawl space. My crawl space is like 6 feet. I don't know why the builder didn't finish it. I'm from New Jersey. We do basements in New Jersey. I know it's not really a thing in North Carolina.
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, that space had been perpetually damp and wet, which of course leads to mold and mildew issues. You do not want that, particularly if you're going to put your house on the market at any point in the near future. So the moisture barrier, 360 moisture barriers, bugsbite.com. They do a whole lot more than just get rid of the pests. And now, of course, I'm wearing my Rowback. You don't know me like that, but you got to save yourself. Use that promo code OG20, save 20%. I got the new Brickyard quarter zip.
It's a good one.
It's a really, really good one. Ben absolutely outdid himself with the quarter zip. So go to rowback.com, rhoback.com. You're going to be jealous. You're a big Canes fan. We're going to talk Canes here in a minute. You're going to be jealous. Joe Ovius has a secret order of Junior Canes merch on the Rowback hoodies.
I am jealous.
I mean, they are going to be absolute fire. So looking forward to that. Thanks to our friends at Rowback. Again, rowback.com, rhoback.com. Use that promo code OG20. Save yourself 20% on your initial offer. We are live today, thanks to our friends at the Butcher's Market. I spared you the adventure of me trying to get all the technology to work at the Longleaf Swine today. But maybe there's a beer in our future at the Longleaf Swine. That would be great because they have a great selection of beers, including Ovius and Giglio, the OG Light. That's one of their specials. If you're a youth. We've established this at 24. You must love a brunch.
I do.
I've been told all you fucking people love a brunch.
I can't deny that.
Here we go. Check them out. Our friends at Longleaf Swine on Edenton and Blunt. There's always parking on Edenton. So go check them out. Thanks to our good friends at the Longleaf Swine. All right. We finally made it. Are you ready?
Let's do it. That was a great ad read, by the way.
Thank you.
Really killed that.
Thank you. Thank you. Cue the beautiful music. All right, it's time for the lightning round. And Alex, let's start with the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina Hurricanes back in action tonight, taking on the Minnesota Wild, 7:00 over at the Lenovo Center. And we're going to get Keandre Miller back. The Canes are. Keandre Miller, good to be back. And Nikolai Ehlers finally scored a goal.
Finally.
He's
been playing well. It's just
no.
Oh, we're not doing that?
No.
Okay.
No. You're a hockey guy. No, I'm not letting you do that.
Okay.
I have no time for that. I have no time for what you're paid for and being like, oh, well, he contributes in a lot of ways. Like hockey knowers even Rod tries to pass that one off. And it's like, right, Rod, I get it. When Rod was a player, you weren't even born yet. Okay. And he would be frustrated because he didn't play on the power play. And so Rod brings this to his coaching sensibilities because Rod, one of the best face-off men in the history of the league, he did things to help the team win that did not include scoring, even though he did lead in scoring during the 06 playoffs. Okay. Should have been the MVP. He would be in the Hall of Fame right now. That's for another episode though. But spare me with Svech and now Ehlers when we're talking about they do other things. No. They're paid to score. They need to score.
Yes. I think Ehlers and Svech are a little different because Ehlers, again, we talked about the process. He was clearly playing how you wanted him to play, except for the puck's not going in the net. He was getting assists. He was setting guys up, creating opportunities. Svechnikov is the most up and down player I think I have ever seen in the NHL for a guy that should be a 35, 40 goal scorer every year just from raw talent and size. We talk about the Hurricanes' lack of size all the time. Well, Svechnikov is not that. He is the big guy they need to pick it up if they really want to compete against a Florida, against a Rangers, honestly, if they were to see him in the playoffs. So hopefully, he can kind of pick it up here. But Ehlers also hopefully can get on a roll. And getting Miller back is going to be huge for this team. Rod said the other day Miller was a perfect fit for this team, and I could not have agreed more. He was awesome in his games when he was healthy.
A little bit of that snarl, that size, a little nastiness that you're talking about. I love the Miller acquisition this offseason. I wish they would have made a better one in their top six. Again, you keep building to playing at a second and third line players and not getting those tippy top guys. That's where my issue with the Carolina Hurricanes comes in. Kochetkov, as Don Waddle used to say. I thought it was really good in the first period, especially against New York, keeping Rangers off the board. The Rangers are obviously a little bit of a mess this year, but we finally see the Ruski. I thought that was a nice season debut for him.
Well, the Hurricanes have a fascinating goalie decision to make now because you're not going to carry 3 goalies the rest of the year, but you're not going to put.
Can they though? Can they make it work
for a little bit?
Okay,
but I don't know. You're going to play what? Freddie 1 game, Brandon another game, that Kochetkov a third game.
Right,
you're going to give him every 3 games now. You're already split.
You're right. It was easier with like a Curtis McElhenney or a.
He get every 5th game.
Yeah, I was going to say some of the older guys.
Raanta
could have been like, we don't need him for like a month.
Exactly.
You're right. You can have that type of situation,
and it will work for a little bit, but eventually, because you're not going to put Brandon on waivers right now.
No. Not the way he's playing.
No, because he's getting claimed immediately.
Right.
Then also, and Freddie or Kochetkov is going to get hurt again at some point this year. Hopefully just for a little bit, but it's going to happen. The proof is in the last 3 years of having these guys around. So do you really want to have, your minor league goalie, who I actually do not remember who it is right now off the top of my head, in Chicago?
Yeah.
You want him to come up and play a game? We've done that before. It's gone okay because the Hurricanes are the only system that the Hurricanes have. I think it's the only system in the NHL that is allowed to pretty much put anyone back there and they can be okay for a game or two. But you don't want to keep finding out, especially if you start playing games down the stretch when you're fighting for a spot in the playoffs, because the East is very tight right now. The Penguins are playing well. The Blue Jackets, Canadians, there's not a single team in the East that's out of it. And I know it's still early in the season, but we're just projecting down, looking down the road. Every team's within 4 to 6 points of each other from top to bottom. So you really do not want to have a stretch where you lose 2, 3, 4 in a row because your goalies are hurt. So it'll be very interesting to see how they handle this moving forward.
Canes finally get 5 of their next 6 at home.
Yes.
Will be good to have them over in the building. For AP, I make my AP debut next week. Vancouver, Edmonton, back to back. Obviously, loved when Edmonton comes to town. We get Ovechkin next Tuesday. So Minnesota, Buffalo here, random one-off at Toronto, then Washington, Vancouver, Edmonton here. So 8-4 in this stretch where they've kind of just had to survive all the defensive injuries. Still no Jacob Slavin. I'm starting to wonder when we'll see Jacob Slavin. I'm starting to think it might be a minute before we see Jacob Slavin. It's an interesting one. We talked to Rod Brindamore about this last week, and it was like, well, I'll let you ask him. And then it was like, well, we don't need him unless he's 100%. And I was like, okay. Because I was like, well, did he have off-season surgery? Did he not have everyone's concerned about the knee or potentially a hip or something else. And it's like, it just feels a little, there's like a little, the messaging with them is slightly off with Slavin.
Yes.
But you can trust them, obviously, given the first 7 years of Rod.
You can. It does seem like every other day you ask him about it. It's
right.
Kind of a little, but the answers are close enough where you think he's kind of telling the truth. And you look back how he was talking a week ago. It's like, well, what changed in this week? Where also, he's right around the corner. Well, I don't know. He might come back soon here. And then now it's kind of like, well, he might be out for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very interesting to see. But again, this is a situation where you're not doing anything in the playoffs without Jacob Slavin.
Yeah, I'm all for doing everything you can to make sure that he's 100% for when the playoffs start. He's their best player. We got to start acting like we all recognize that he truly is their best player and that you're allowed to be an NHL team and a forward doesn't always have to be your best player. So
absolutely.
That is the way it goes for the Hurricanes. We just took a little bit of a hockey break. Did you know that?
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hale.
Our guys at Happy and Hale, they will always take care of you. They always make you feel better about yourself too. See, you're still young. You can still exercise. You don't necessarily have to take care of yourself, but I got good news for you. When you make good choices at Happy and Hale, it's not only good for you, it's also delicious and it's filling. Their bowls are unbelievable. Bueno Bowl is my personal go-to. Joe is a big fan of the smoothies. I know this. Use the app. Download that Happy Plus Hale app. Use our promo code OG25. You'll save 25% on your initial order. You'll also get a free smoothie when you just sign up for the app, which is good. And then if it's within a month of your birthday, even if it's just passed, you can still get a free bowl for signing up on the app for your birthday. So go do that. That's our friends at Happy and Hale. All right, I've mentioned this way too many times. Well, let's get into our generational divide.
We've got a lot to get to. Woo. It's a lightning round.
Alex, I believe you're state through and through, right? There's no divided loyalties in the Nunnally family?
Cannot say there are. No, we are state absolutely all the way through.
Okay. Well, my son is a junior at ECU. I'm going to the ECU game on Saturday, make a run to Greenville, and I'm actually kind of excited about what they're wearing. I know there will be some state fans who are like, I knew it, Giglio. I knew you were such a I knew you didn't really like NC State. So here we go. This is what ECU is going to be wearing Saturday for the game.
Bill Lewis Show, an inside look at Pirate football with ECU head coach Bill Lewis and the voice of the Pirates, Jeff Giles.
Ooh, man, check this out.
It is that helmet that's going to do it for some people. That's ECU's 91 throwbacks. They went 11-1 and 91, beat State in the Peach Bowl. I'm here for the nostalgia, though.
I like throwbacks.
Okay.
Unless they look like the Packers throwbacks.
Oh, no, that was awful.
That was the worst uniform.
They dressed like the Bears.
Yes.
Dress like the Bears, play like the Bears. Thank you. Here's the thing, though. ECU plays Charlotte on Saturday. You're thinking Charlotte sucks, whatever. The reason Mike Houston's not the coach at ECU is because he lost at home to Charlotte 10-7 in 23. Last year, they went to Charlotte and they got absolutely hammercocked 55-24. So the reason Blake Harrell is the head coach at ECU is not because he beat State in a bowl game or whatever else. It's because Mike Houston couldn't beat Charlotte, lost to App State too. And he also, he had a miserable record against in-state opponents, to the point where this week I was like, man, I got to go get a ticket on ECU this week. The line, 29.5. I was like, people, I want to take the Pirates. I think they're going to win, but 29.5, you're really asking a lot of me here. So, all right. So you are 3 years older than James. I'm gonna pull up this translating English to junior high. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Let's see. I don't think I can pause it in the. I won't have enough time to figure out how to pause each answer, but I think you're going to enjoy this. It requires that.
Someone you hate.
Op.
Annoying, overbearing girl.
Pick me.
Ugly person.
Chopped.
Two numbers that are fun to say.
6, 7.
Guys or y'all.
Chop.
Average or mediocre.
Mid.
Extremely funny or relatable.
Sending me.
Reminds me of.
It's giving.
Good.
Gas.
Being confident.
Main character.
Took a bad picture.
Clipped.
Same.
Twin.
All right. How many of those do you use?
We might have to revisit whether or not I'm a youth or not.
Uh-oh.
I think I got most of them, but there are a couple where I'm like, I have no idea what she's about to say. So that's
Chopped.
making me
You definitely use Chopped.
Stina, I haven't used it.
Okay.
But most of them I got. But there are a couple in there that I have no idea what she's Yeah, you're making me feel old.
But
now.
they did say junior high, though.
True.
So I don't want to make you feel old.
You succeeded regardless.
Either way, we've made it work. All right. Let's get to one of my favorite topics that when Ovius is not here.
Topics, stack it up. Giglio's roll back it up. Well, I know what we'll do. A lightning round.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about Cooper Flagg. Because most people on this program know how I feel about Cooper Flagg. I don't dislike Cooper Flagg. I just think he's not a one of one. I think he's, again, I'll reiterate my point so that you know, I think if he's the third best player on your team, you got a chance to win the NBA. You do. But I do not think he's someone who's going to be the cornerstone of an NBA championship team. I just don't. Last year at Duke, we talked a lot about Cooper Flagg. We also forgived a lot of his sins last year because of the statistical numbers that he put up. We never talk about the missed shots, though, which is one of the things that I'm always like, it's okay to laud somebody for their all-around ability, being competitive, being a great defender, all those great things. But you don't have to sit there and call them a loser and be like, oh my God, they can't win a game-winning shot. But it is part of the conversation. So when he was drafted, and you have people like Bill Simmons who are like, oh, this is the next like Victor Wembanyama. Like he's going to come in and dominate the league because he's such a great competitor. I take umbrage with those statements. So I'm gonna present this as a two-part play for you. When I wake up in the morning, I wake up, I make my coffee, and I go to my fantasy team first, and then I go to ESPN. So I'm greeted by ESPN by this image, And I thought, wow, Cooper Flagg must have really had a big day. Number 1 pick poster, Flagg equals planted. Cooper Flagg throws down one of the wildest alley-oop slams of his rookie season. I was like, oh, okay, well, he must have been awesome in this game yesterday. But then my Twitter feed, knowing potentially that I can take some umbrage with Cooper Flagg, if it's too effusive, I guess is the best way to put it, puts this up. Now, this is something called Brick Center, which you could probably now guess is they're probably not going to highlight something good here, right?
No.
So it says Cooper Flagg sends it to overtime, fire emoji. Let's just watch.
Separate for the receiving of the inbounds pass. He puts it down. He pulls up. Shot is missed off the back rim. High for the rebound. Trey Murphy. They got a foul, but he passes up ahead, and the game is over.
Holy ACC nostalgia, by the way. That was Trey Murphy getting the rebound and Jose Alvarado dribbling out the clock.
That's Kerry Academy legend, Trey Murphy.
Trey Murphy. Did you play with Trey?
Yeah, 2 years.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I'm a slacker.
No, it's okay.
Okay. So,
but yeah, that's my guy.
Again, there's Cooper Flagg, ball in his hands, chance to win a game, misses. So, I struggle when people get a little bit crazy with what a player is and what a player isn't. Now, you want to defend Cooper Flagg, you want to come into the take business again, you want to venture back in because this is basketball. This is your specialty.
I'll push back that he isn't generational.
Okay.
Or at least, okay. I won't say generational. I say you can build a championship team around him, but you can. It's not like a Wemby situation,
right?
That's the problem.
He's a true one-on-one.
Yes,
yeah.
And the problem is Cooper Flagg got those comparisons, or at least not as many, but there were definitely some people talking about generational. Well, the thing about a generational player is that they're one of one, or one of 2 or 3. Cooper Flagg is not at that level. Now, I think you could build a very, very good team around him. And I actually think the Mavericks are a pretty good team if Klay Thompson can figure out how to shoot the basketball.
Well, once they get Kyrie back, too.
Yeah, that'll help
a completely different dynamic.
I'll actually push back a lot. I think he's being put in a horrible, horrible situation by Jason Kidd right now.
Oh, trying to run stuff through him?
Yes. Yeah. And I think you're not letting him, especially with no Kyrie, he's playing point a large portion of the game because Jason Kidd is convinced you have to have a large point guard or a big point guard for some reason. I think that in a different situation, he'd look a little bit better because he wouldn't be asked to do as much right away. And don't forget, he's 18 years old.
Yeah. I know.
I know, you know. But that is a real thing that is going to affect him. And I think that his development, I'm not going to say is going to be killed by Jason Kidd, but I do think it might change a little bit because of how he's being played right away. I've seen it before with guys who are asked to do too much right away, especially in positions they're not really meant to play. And, last year he didn't really run the point. He ran a little bit, but that's not really what he was asked to do. And he looked great. Obviously, we talk about the game-winning shots aside. He did look very good. And now you're asking him, all right, go play point when that's not what we really drafted you to do because of the Kyrie injury. I know you're trying to scramble given injury situations. It changes how your outlook of a season goes and how your roster management goes. But I do think that is something that is really affecting him, especially early on when he's trying to adjust to everyone else being just as athletic and just as big as him.
All right, just to prove I'm not a full-on hater, I found this. I think the Mavericks put this out or Topps put this out. They gave him a pack of basketball cards from the year he was born. You just have to wait for the payoff here, trust me.
Warren Coop?
06.
06. We have a pack here from your birth year.
Oh, okay.
Let's see how many people you can recognize.
Oh, no chance. All right. Let us see. Okay. Not good to start. Hedo Turkoglu. Yeah, no, don't know him. Okay, Juwan Howard. We know Coach Howard. Michael Finley.
Boom.
Okay, we know Michael. We know Coach Finn.
Mavs legend too.
Yes, Mavs legend. Eric Snow. I don't know Eric Snow.
Sixer guy.
I don't even want to try and say this guy's name.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Big Z. Played with Braun.
Okay. Rasal Butler. I feel like I've heard the name.
Yep.
So, yeah, however you say it. Antoine Walker. I know Antoine Walker. Antoine Wright.
Okay.
And Rashad McCants.
Sick.
Also don't know.
What year were you born?
The payoff. Rashad McCants. Don't know. And he was being honest. That wasn't like a Duke player.
He didn't even try to
hating
lie
on
about it.
Rashad
He just had no idea who that guy was. Didn't try to play it off at all.
I enjoyed that tremendously.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but I did.
Wow.
You know who Rashad McCants
I do
is,
know who
right?
Rashad McCants is, yes.
Okay. I was tickled by that.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
All right, we're almost out of here. I don't have any phone calls because, as you know, when Ovius is out of town, I don't get phone calls, but it's how the world works. But I want to let you know that Nature's Relief is there for you, whether you need to just chill on your Cooper Flagg takes or whether you just need to relax and not worry about mortgage rates and all those other things. Hit them up. Nature's Relief Hemp Store. Nature's Relief. My home base is on in Garner, right down the pike there, Timber Drive. They have 5 stores, though, all across the triangle. So we appreciate Nature's Relief for supporting the OG Sports Phone. All right, there was one more take here that I wanted to get from you, and that was on Rico Dowdle getting now fined for his hip thrust celebration. Can you believe this?
Yeah, I was honestly stunned he got fined, which is...
I was stunned he got penalized.
I was too, which also goes back to the fact that every single person on that field thought the rule was 2 pumps. Like the actual rule.
3
not
pumps.
Just,
Yeah.
Or the rule, like you can get 2.
2.
Yeah. And there's not anywhere in the rule book it's any suggestive or, obscene gesture, but every single person thought it was 2. And I actually kind of agree with him. I think that the ref overreacted to it. And I think the NFL, almost to defend the ref, overreacted. Like, oh no, we have to be strong and, enforce our rule book when, everyone kind of is on Rico Dowdle's side. But him giving it to charity, I thought was a really nice touch. So.
Yes, $14,000. He started a GoFundMe in order to turn this situation into already amusing one, but to turn it into some good. He says 100% of what is raised through this fundraiser will be sent to 56 Children's Home Society of North Carolina. Children's Home Society promotes the right for every child to a permanent, safe, and loving family. They specialize in education, prevention programs, family preservation, and adoption and foster care. And let's raise some money is what he wrote on Twitter. So Rico Dowdle back at practice too. More importantly, as a Panthers fan, I'm sure that it was more on your radar than this potential fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously glad to see him back out there. Panthers kind of getting healthy.
Sort of.
We'll see. I mean,
they can't lose on Sunday, right?
No, you can't lose. You cannot lose this game. You have positive momentum for the first time since 2022 with Steve Wilkes.
Right, but even that was a lost year. Like this is a year where
yes.
you at least have wild card potential.
Yes, and that was a year where you beat Tampa and then beat New Orleans. You get in with a losing record because of the divisions.
Right.
But again, that you fired your coach that year, and then you fire your coach the next year, and then last year, you had the whole Bryce situation. So to be able to capitalize on this situation, I think the Panthers need to win this weekend, and they need to wait the Falcons because that stretch after,
it's tough.
I don't see many wins. At least now, I'm not saying they can't win those games, but it is a hard ask to go even.
Just like they went to Green Bay and they won the game. So.
Yeah. But are you really expecting that to keep happening with this team when they do have, as good as they have played, there are still severe limitations to this offense and this defense? I think Dan Morgan, I know you guys talked about it the other day, or at least Ovius did. The trade deadline was very smart to not go make a panic play for something, to go hopefully make the wild card and lose, going to Philadelphia or to another team. I think that was very smart of him. I think the plan was always 2026 for this team to really move the contention.
A year away from being a year away.
Well, now you're just a year away.
Now we're just one.
No. So hopefully it works out. I've seen, there are plenty of teams that get to the year away and they never really get to the real contention status. But I trust this front office for the first time since really pre-COVID. So
saying a lot.
I know. Or not even trust, but I think they know what they're doing and they have a plan. And I think that's something that as Panthers fans, you've been waiting for so long. and that there is legitimate reasoning behind the decisions they're making. Take Chuba Hubbard, for example. I disagreed with it. I thought you should have stuck with Rico Dowdle. But what he's meant to that locker room and building the culture, I understood why Canales said, let's give him a chance to get his role back. Then he only did it for 2 games. And even in that Buffalo game, you could kind of tell, yeah, this really isn't working. And you could tell on the sideline that even the guys and the coaching staff were kind of figuring that out. Then right after the game, he goes, we're going to have to make a change.
Yeah.
And then he followed up on it, and you saw, he didn't stick with something for too long. You can disagree with the process, but I don't think you can disagree with his reasoning for why he's doing stuff, which is, I think, so important for a franchise that struggled for the better part of a decade so far to find consistency amongst the front office and the coaching staff.
Well, as a lifelong State fan, you can't use the word should and NC State together. We'll see if we can for the Carolina Panthers this weekend.
We'll find out on Sunday
against the Saints. All right, let's get out of here with some of your comments. Why are we getting anxiety? Hold on. Let's see what we got here. Look at Steve taking care of you. Happy belated birthday, Alex. You said 24?
Yes, 24. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. Our guy Ken, I have friends that are Carolina fans that didn't think Roy was a good coach. True. Imagine what they think about Hubert. Yeah, that's why I kind of sort of think you need this win on Friday. I think it'd be good to make it work. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's see. NC State moderator. To be fair, if Miko took as long as he did to find his groove, it makes sense for Ehlers to have a slower start. That's true. It's an adjustment, right?
It is, but I also think Ehlers signed here, and he had the full off season to get into the system. Miko came in the middle of the season, and a trade that we now know he really did not want to be a part of. He played that situation wrong, but that is what it is. So I agree with what he's saying. I do think there's definitely merit to that, but I think it's a little bit different of a situation given that he had, it took him 12 games to score a goal.
Right.
That is a long time in the NHL. At that pace, he's scoring 8. And obviously, you're not paying him $8.5 million to score 8 goals. So yes and no to that one, but I do think there's some merit to what he said.
All right. And then is that ACC champion Alex Nunnally? Felt wrong, but that's okay. Sorry.
It is the one and only ACC champion.
It's you. You break some news here as we leave here. You're coaching this year.
I am. I'm coaching at Thaley's Academy in Cary, small private school.
Okay. How's the squad looking?
It's a work in progress. We got some guys that are really gonna be bought in.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna go through all the coach speak.
Yeah.
Analogies I can think of right now.
I love it. Now, you were originally going to help out at Cary.
Yes.
Regular Cary.
Yes.
Okay. And then this opportunity came up.
Yeah, I just got the opportunity, and I decided that if I really want to find out if coaching's for me, I just need to throw myself into it.
Okay.
And, I loved Cary, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But, I'm just gonna find out really this is something I want to be doing. And so hopefully we got better today. That's fine.
We got better today.
I can't say that we have so far.
No,
that's not true.
Come on.
Practice the other day was very good. We did get better. We got 1% better. That's all you can ask for is get 1% better every day. But yeah, it's a great opportunity. I'm really excited for it.
All right. Good luck this season. Let me know how the coaching turns out. Conversation with Scott Wood recorded for today that he used next week. His second game of the year is against Rich Howell in Green Hope.
Wow.
So I'm excited for that. But he did say, what's Alex doing? He should come over and help me.
Hey,
but now
I might have to talk to him about it now. Well, maybe next couple of years, but
there we go.
I'm trying to build something over there. So.
All right, man. We'll see you at the Lenovo Center soon, whether it's hockey or basketball. There. And next time Ovius goes out of town, you think you can handle this again?
I think so. Hopefully they think so too. But I think it went pretty well for my first time doing something like this. So.
We did it. All right, man. Appreciate you guys. 5 stars only, positive vibes only. Let's go.